Hey everybody, happy Wednesday. It is December 29th and we are live. We've got another awesome guest. If you're newer, we go live every single Monday through Friday at 10 a.m. Eastern time. So on my side of the country, it's 8 a.m. For Olivia and everybody else who's on the East Coast, it's 10 a.m. Eastern. We go live every single day. We even send out a little text message reminder. If you're newer and just signing on for the first time, you can text the letters. You can see it on the screen right there. WUL to 813-296-8553. And you'll get a short little, I just got mine right now. You'll get a short little text message with a link. You can just tap that little link right there. It'll pop you right into Facebook. You'll be live. It's awesome. And it's super easy. And we don't send you a bunch of messages trying to sell you stuff. It's just a quick little reminder that says, hey, join the live. Let's get it going. And it's a good way to get a little inspiration, a little motivation before you start your day, or maybe if you're mowing the lawn or scooping snow or who knows what you're doing. But you can turn it on. Or on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, all kinds of stuff. So you can always get your dose every single day, a short little 30-minute to 60-minute, if we go a long time, dose of inspiration from somebody who's building a business just like you want to. So these are real people. This isn't scripted. I mean, we'll bring Olivia in here in just a second, but it's definitely not scripted. I mean, we sign in a couple minutes before going live and it's like, you ready? Yep. Audio sound good? Yep. All right, cool. Let's do it. So we do that because we want it to feel raw and authentic and candid, not scripted and weird. And yeah. So anyway, let's bring on our guest for today. And if everybody who's in the comments, can you give us a little like hand clap emojis and say, welcome to the show to Olivia. Olivia, what's happening?
Hey, how are you?
I'm good. My morning's good so far. How about yours?
Yep, same here. It's raining here today, so kind of a gloomy day, but it's all good.
Yeah. Yeah, it's been like that here too. It's interesting. It never rains here in Phoenix, but it's been rainy and dreary here. And, but it's been good because typically the rest of the year is just scorching hot and sunny and nonstop sun. So it's kind of like when you get a little bit of like dreary, cloudy gray here, it's like soak it all in so you can get it all. It's awesome.
Right.
All right. Well, you're in North Carolina, right? And you found us back in June, I think, if I read that right.
Yep, June.
Cool. Tell us a little bit about how you found us. Tell us about, what you currently do for work and what got you looking, or maybe you weren't looking, maybe you just got interrupted by somebody on TikTok who introduced you to us or something. Tell us a little bit about how you found us.
Yeah, so it was actually on TikTok, and I wasn't necessarily looking right in the moment, but
Okay.
doing something on my own has always been a passion. And during COVID, I got laid off from my job, and I really was trying to spend my time finding something to do, and I just felt like I don't know what it is that I could do. I don't have a lot of money to start anything up in terms of, a shop or inventory or things like that. But nothing really came from that. I ended up going back to work. And then there was just one night I was sitting on the couch scrolling through TikTok, and this one came up that just really caught my eye and it drew me in. And it was just, I don't even think she was talking. I think it was just text on the screen of, do you want to have time freedom and financial freedom and start your own business and work wherever you want, work 1 to 2 hours a day. I was like, oh my gosh, yeah, sign me up. So
Yes, that sounds great.
I followed her funnel, clicked the link, did the business builder, and here I am.
Cool. So when you first see that, had you like seen anything like a course that's a digital course like this before?
I probably had seen maybe one or two, and I will be honest, as soon as I got to the checkout page and it was like, oh, enter all of your card information for this course, but it wasn't upfront about how much it cost, I just clicked out of it. And then when I came across this one, it said it was only $7. I was like, all right, well, the worst case is I don't get Starbucks tomorrow. I learned something new, and maybe I won't learn anything, but $7 is worth that risk for me.
Cool. Yeah. Yeah, I think that's I think in the video Dave says something like you can get started for less than a pair of Wranglers at Walmart or something like that. This is the most like but it's just the most redneck sounding thing ever. I love it. Like, okay, yeah, let's Wrangler jeans, yes. But I think this Starbucks analogy hits broader culture a little bit better. Because yeah, you could go and get a grande vanilla latte or whatever, and you're out like $6 or something, and yeah, after a tip, maybe 6, $7, and or you could get a whole education that teaches you how to start like actually generating traffic on the internet. How do I put together a sales funnel to sell products, stuff like that. Yeah, it's kind of a steal. It's a good deal.
Yeah.
When you were going through the challenge, um, what like came up for you? Like, was there anything surprising? Was there anything interesting in particular? Did you gravitate more towards like, because some people come on here and they're like, I really gravitated towards like reading Rich Dad Poor Dad, or for other people that's not as big of a thing. It's more like, wow, I'd never know how to sell product through a sales funnel, or how to drive traffic on TikTok or whatever. Was
Mhm.
there anything that stood out to you as like in particular, like this was really powerful?
Well, I definitely will say Rich Dad Poor Dad. When I read it through the challenge this time, I think that was the third time that I had read the book, and
Wow.
it was completely different for me this time. And I think I just had
Wow.
a different perspective on it. Of okay, this is it's not something that it's not something to take lightly and just read through and kind of check off my reading list. It really kind
Yeah.
of hit home for me that time. But
Hmm.
what I think stuck out to me the most was just that the course was teaching you how to build a business, and that sales funnel made me open it really opened my eyes to see how many times that happens in my everyday life, everything that
Hmm.
I see on the internet, and I was relating back to it. Oh my gosh, I just learned about that in the course, and here I am seeing it online again. um,
Right.
so I think that was the biggest thing, is like, wow, this is actually doable. There's so many people that do it, and it's not out of reach.
Yeah, interesting. Wow, that was your third time on that book. That book is so good.
I know.
The principle of like, I think I read it twice. The principle of like paying yourself first. I remember like thinking through that and like what a revolutionary idea that was to me.
Mhm.
And like basically learning how to generate cash flow and acquire assets, but paying yourself first and forcing yourself, even if you're wealthy, into a place where you're like, ooh, this is a little tight. Like I paid myself a lot this month and now I don't have a lot of leftover money, but like I'm doing decent. And it was just such a weirdly, yeah, it was just a very bizarre, or not bizarre. It was a very powerful transformation for me. That's
Mhm.
cool. What like how old were you when you first read that book?
Um, I think I was maybe 26.
Okay.
My husband actually read it, and he was like, Olivia, you have to read this book. And so, okay. So I
Cool.
read it, and it didn't really sink in with me. I think I was kind of just, okay, yeah, I read it.
Cool.
Um, I read it again when I was 20. Actually, I read it again during quarantine. So when I was 28. And then I listened to it this time through an audiobook when I started Legendary.
Cool. That's awesome. That's super cool. I feel like it's amazing to me how widespread that book is. It's nuts.
Yeah.
So you go through the challenge. You're part of our Blueprints community too. You're building your business on TikTok. What do you have like a background on social media? Had you been on social? I mean, like most people have been on social media, but had you been like a content creator before? Are you on most social media platforms? What's that been like?
Yeah, so it was actually terrifying. I have an Instagram
Really?
book and I had a TikTok, but like I didn't post anything on it. It was just
Okay.
to watch other TikToks.
Yep.
Um, So when I started this, I just became paralyzed when it came to the point where I needed to start putting myself out there. Um, I did not want to start with Facebook ads at the very beginning. I thought, let me just try this organically. I'd seen a lot of people on this show just talk about how great TikTok is and just part of the blueprints and everything in the training, that TikTok is a perfect free channel for you to start. And I just remember I was sitting up here and in my office and I was like, all right, I need to film this. So I'm just going to do it. And I filmed, I actually watched a Wake Up Legendary, and it was a girl, I can't remember her name, but she started on TikTok with just posting her story. This is who I am, what I'm doing, where I came from, and this is my journey. So follow along. So I tried to do something very similar to that. And I remember my heart was beating so fast as I pressed post. But once I did, I just felt like, okay, who cares? I don't, it doesn't matter. I'm going to reach somebody. And
Right.
I think that's where I started. And if I scroll back down to the very first TikToks that I was posting, they're so bad. But it's just a learning process. So now I've seen, I'm on there. I dedicate time to being on my business TikTok, so that I can see what trends are going on and how people are editing videos, and just trying to follow and copy that to make my videos better every day.
Yeah, that's cool. You talk about like scrolling back through your old videos. We had a guest on, I think last week, and we were talking about how, our like everybody's first videos, you could scroll through like some of our affiliates or even like big content creators. You could scroll through some of their very first videos. Like if you scroll far enough, I mean, some people have created a lot of videos, but you scroll far enough and get to the beginning, man, some of that stuff is just like, you're like, are you serious?
Yeah.
Like this is where you started? But the truth is like most people don't do that. Like unless you're a content creator and you're like doing investigative work, most people don't do that. Most people don't scroll all the way. And so it's like, it becomes this incentive to just create more content and put more content out there because you're like, yeah, let's put more stuff on top of all those old videos that I don't want anybody to see.
Yeah.
Let's just cover those up.
Yeah, exactly.
So on like a daily basis now, are you well, you've got a lot of you've made a lot of content, and you've done a really good job. Are you like super active as of today? You're also looking at like starting an online store maybe. But you went through an interesting journey, and you mentioned it in the questionnaire about like you were just about to wonder like, is this going to work? This doesn't seem like it's working. And then you hit this big high ticket commission. Talk to us about that, because I'm curious about that feeling, because a lot of people have that feeling. It might be the most relatable feeling in this whole industry, is like so much work, so much work, so much work. I've pushed. Like I just feel like I'm not seeing it. And it's that analogy of the other book is Secrets of the Millionaire Mind. Or I'm sorry, no, Think and Grow Rich, where he talks about the person who's digging for gold and stops just a few feet short of a huge gold mine. And yeah, I'm just curious about what you think, about your journey of, feeling a little bit lost of like, maybe this is over, maybe this isn't going to work. And then boom, you hit a big commission and suddenly things are like changed a little bit. What was that like?
Yeah, it was honestly really encouraging. I was starting, I originally started my TikTok as a business account, which was growing super, super slow. So I dedicated probably like 2 weeks. I switched back to a personal account, and I just really dedicated myself to, I had about 500 followers. So I was like, all right, my mission for the next 2 weeks is to get 1,000 followers on my personal side of TikTok so that I can put my link in my bio.
Yeah.
And I just thought, okay, once I do that, like everything's just going to fall into place. My commissions are going to be rolling in. And so I actually did that in about 4 days. I grew to 1,000 followers, which was awesome. And then I just thought, okay, I got to keep this momentum going. I was posting 4 or 5 times a day and just really like pushing out content, doing trends and organic videos.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was getting leads. They were coming in, all this, but nobody was clicking through. No one was even buying the 7-day core or 15-day challenge. So I just started to think like, well, I don't know. I don't know. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know why, I'm spending a lot of time on this and nothing's coming of it. And I still stayed consistent with it. I actually asked for some help and feedback on the Facebook group, and I had a lot of really helpful tips. People
Cool.
said, I'll go through your funnel. I'll give you some tips and tricks, which was really helpful and helped me kind of clean everything up, and which definitely brought in some leads and some smaller ticket commissions. And then I was at work one day and my husband called and he said, did you check your email? And I said, no, why? And he was like, well, just go look at it. And I saw that commission come through, and I was like,
Wow.
oh, I'm taking my lunch break right now. And I like came straight home and we were celebrating. I was like, oh my gosh, it's paid off finally. But it was a lead that I remember when they came through. I remember looking at the name, and it was it was a name very similar to someone I knew. So I thought it was one of my friends, and I was like, oh my gosh, so now people are going to know that I'm doing this, but it wasn't her. And then it came through on the high ticket commission. So she had gone through the whole funnel and everything, and ended up purchasing the blueprints.
Wow.
And yeah, and it just gave me motivation. I was like, all right, I don't know what video she saw, or kind of what it was that hit home. Maybe she saw one of my videos and followed me and started seeing a bunch more, but something stuck that I did for her. And so that was my motivation to keep going. So I'm still posting, still following trends, trying to find, I've got my favorite TikTokers that I follow, and I try to kind of recreate things that they've done that's gone viral.
Yeah.
And yeah, that commission, I wouldn't say I was almost ready to give up, but I was kind of at the verge of, all right, maybe I should explore other things and start trying to find other sources of income.
Yeah, I think that makes sense. And it's in you because you're in that process of trying to figure out like, well, what's going to fit me? What's going to work for me? What's going to like actually help me generate an income? Like, I think that's a big thing too.
Right.
Very cool. Yeah, what a cool story. What a cool like moment too. I think back to my, yeah, I don't know. I just had a similar moment. Mine was, I was working this job at a coffee shop, and I've been working at this for like 2 years or something. I mean, I didn't have TikTok at that time, and TikTok's kind of like a hack these days to like speed up the process quite a bit. But I had a moment where like I had a $3,000 commission where I was promoting a travel product, and man, yeah, I had a $3,000 commission.
Wow.
And I had that day $0 in my bank account, like
Wow.
zero. And I remember like the staircase I was on. I remember looking at my Chase app. I snapped a screenshot of my bank account and sent it to like my mentor who was helping me like get started.
Mm-hmm.
And I was just like, dude, I just made this. I finally closed my first sale and like finally like made a big commission here. And it just so happened today I was like, rent hit, this hit, this hit. We had this weird random expense, and it was just like, it was a cool moment where I was like, you said the words, I think the words you said was like, it finally paid off, like the work, the energy, the effort. And I think the cool part too is like, yes, it finally paid off. But if you think of it in the grand scale, like, did you go to college?
Yes.
Yeah. I think in the grand scheme of like going to college, spending 4 years in college, learning about a lot about things, like just, when I was in college, I learned a lot about stuff that like I'll never ever think about ever again, which is fine. Like I get the point that there's something to college, but like for me, it wasn't some degree that was like, I'm going to be a doctor, I'm going to be a dentist, or I'm going to be like a freaking, I don't know, a pharmacy tech or something, like it wasn't something that like I absolutely needed to go get a degree to get a specific job. It was just like, here I am for 4 years, got my degree, cool, and 99% of the stuff that I learned in classes there, and I'll never ever reference probably ever again. Um, there's a few things that I did learn that were more like logic and how to think critically and how to like those kind of things. I wish I would have spent more time on. But I will say, if you purchase this in June, you're a great example of this. You purchase this in June, 6 months, right? It does feel like a long time, but in the grand scheme, you look around at different education systems. You look around at different like ways that you could invest your time and money and energy to have something start paying you back in 6 months after the fact. Our industry in particular really hypes up like being able to make money and being able to like get a result fast. And I get that people do that and people talk that way, but the truth is 6 months is very fast, especially for a 29-year-old. Like I'm only 32. Like for people our age, like we're so young. I listen a lot of times to Gary Vee, who's like, dude, like if you're 40, you're just like a baby. Like you're barely getting started. If you're under 30, it's like you've got all the time in the world to try things and fail. And so 6 months in that grand scheme is like, what a great 6 months of time spent learning like real world skills. Because when I got started back when I was 22, I learned Google ads and I learned Facebook ads, and I wasn't making any money from any of that. I was like driving Uber so that I could run ads and fail and lose all that money. But I learned all those skills, and you're learning those on TikTok now, and you're learning them on, I don't know if are you on other platforms too?
I use Pinterest, but TikTok is definitely my main one.
Yeah, like just learning those skills and being able to create content and identify and study and figure those out, I think is just insanely powerful and like
Yeah.
such a good use of your time because you can use it in a million different ways.
Right. And like you said, 6 months in the grand scheme of things is not a long time. And I think what I always try to remember and just bring back to myself is that this is not, a get rich quick kind of thing. It is like I am trying to build something for the future. And if it took me 6 months to make a high ticket commission, well, I've done it now. So now I know that I can do it again. And 6 months really isn't that long, but hopefully this is what, my future holds.
Yeah, totally. And I when we do our decade in a day workshop, I always tell people or at least recently, I don't know if I would have said this 6 months ago if you were on it, but when we do that workshop, I always tell people like with things like paid ads and driving traffic and building funnels and stuff like that, like over the last 5 years, I've had moments and times where like I was between jobs or I lost a job or I was between like business ventures or something. And I could literally open a spreadsheet today, collect businesses around like Phoenix or around the world really, but like it's a little easier if it's local and you're local. And I could sign people up today for retainers to run ads for them to drive Google traffic to their business or to their website, to create marketing deals for them, and use good direct response marketing. And I've done it multiple times. And it's all because this industry taught me real skills that are transferable between different businesses, between different business models and stuff like that. And it's cool, I think, to me, I think it's cool that you're months into this and months down the road, and you've clearly had to battle through like really sitting down and try to figure this out. Some people get on in like their first week, they make a bunch of commissions, and it's like, dude, really?
Yeah.
Like you suck. I kind of hate you, but good for you. And other people, it just takes like a few months. Some people, it takes a year or so.
Yep.
But I think it's cool whenever I see somebody who gets into that like real sort of not crisis, but like real wondering, like, is this freaking gonna work? Like, what the heck's
Mhm.
going on? and to see a random person you've never met, because of your automated funnel, your automated business, your ability to generate traffic and attract people to your story, your journey, everything like that. And then to have that payday is such a cool thing. I love it.
Right.
It's an inspiring thing.
And with TikTok too, it's like, I don't, there's videos that I post that I'm like, oh, this, whatever, I'll just post it. I don't care. And I think that was a huge turnaround for me, was that I spent so much time trying to make every single video perfect that I was spending too much time on that and I would put one video as opposed to posting like 4 or 5, that one of them might work, but the one that I spent so much time working on, then no one sees it because I only have time. So.
Yes. I feel that. That's a common story. Do you have like a routine, or do you have like any sort of structure? Like, do you try to post a certain amount of times each day, or are you more like kind of loosey goosey all over the place?
Yeah, so I'm actually off work this week, so I'm a little out of my rhythm, but I film all of my TikToks while I'm driving to work. I have about a 10-minute drive. So as I'm getting ready in the morning, I just try to think about a couple different things that I want to say and talk about. And then on my drive, I just film like 5 or 6. When I'm sitting in the parking lot or even on my lunch break, I will
Yeah.
kind of get them ready, put my captions on, do all of that stuff. And then I try to just post like every 2 or 3 hours throughout the day, but they're already ready to go. So all I have to do is log into the app and then hit post, and then I just leave it. That's what works for me, because for me, it doesn't work to just film everything on like Sunday or Saturday and get everything ready for the week. I just can't think that way. So I always just try to think of, okay, what are my thoughts this morning as I'm getting ready about the business, about what I'm doing? How can I help somebody today? And then I just go from there.
Nice. Yeah, that's super cool. I think it's important to do, at least my thought on it is, I feel like it's important to do you, and specifically to like find a structure, or just to find a rhythm, maybe not a structure. Structure freaks me out, but
Yeah.
to find a rhythm that's just like, hey, this just works for me. This is how I do it. This is my this is my flow. This is how I get going. This is how I do it. So that's cool. And we've got so many people who do that. Like, they'll be friggin' like eating a sandwich in their car, making TikToks because they were like, man, I was just sitting at my desk all day thinking about this, this little thing I read and Think and Grow Rich, or they're sitting at their desk. There's like people who work in warehouses, who like they run forklifts, but they have like a headphone in all day. So they're like, they'll listen to the show. They'll listen to like Rich Dad, Poor Dad, and they're sitting there at their job and they're like, God, I can't wait to get out of here. But like for now, I'm gonna be like listening to my freaking audiobooks and like just putting good stuff in their ears at all times. I used to do that all the time, all the time. I spent so much money on audiobooks, just every single type of business, management, leadership, marketing, sales, you name it, everything, just pound all day, every day.
Mhm.
And that was my thing. It was like this, it was keeping me in a world of like abundance. It was keeping me in a world of, I want to do my own thing and I need to surround my mind with that, or I felt like I would kind of risk falling into the just mundane 9 to 5, just this is what I do now. And there's days where I definitely like, settled into that, but I eventually kept pulling and kept pulling and kept pulling out of that.
Yeah.
What's been for you? Like, what's been your biggest struggle? Like, has there been a real hurdle or something that's been in particular, like really, maybe something that, have you felt stuck at all through this process? Have you felt like there's been a big hurdle in particular that you're still going to overcome, or maybe have overcome, that it's felt big to you?
Yeah, I honestly just think it's myself. It's my self-doubt of, I have to get in front of a camera and do this. And I've always wanted to be my dedication was that I'm not going to put out false information. So everything that I put on my TikTok is true. I still have my 9 to 5. This is not replacing my income. It's what I hope it does eventually, but it's not doing that right now.
Yep.
But I think just the fear of being online and in front of people, like what are people going to say? And how am I going to handle that? It's just been my own thoughts of like, this is never going to work. It works for all these other people, but it's not going to do it for me. And I don't know, maybe I'll try it, I guess. And if I fail, then whatever, it wasn't meant for me. But just telling myself like, I'm never going to know until I try it and do it. And it's not failed me so far. So I would definitely say that it's something that I still battle with. As you know, I'm making TikToks, I look back at it and I'm like, oh, that was dumb, but it wasn't dumb to the people who liked it or started following me and all of that. So just trying to get out of my own head sometimes.
Heck yeah. It's just so weird that we do that. I don't know. I don't know what that is.
Yeah.
I do that too. And it is just a very weird thing when, like, I guess I sort of think of it like, when I was little, I've had lots of moments when I was little where I felt like the world was ending. I felt like everything was crap, and it was like my sixth grade girlfriend dumped me or something, it was like, and the world's just crumbling, right? And it's like, oh my God, the world is ending. I'm such a loser. Everyone's going to think I'm just a all you go down this whole spiral. And then like literally, 5 hours later, or maybe it's a couple weeks later, it literally just doesn't even matter. It's sort of vanished from your existence. And we put this weird pressure on ourselves, like, oh my gosh, what if Aunt Lucy is like finds out about my business or whatever? And like most cases, it's just really funny. Like when most people that I know like found out that I was like an affiliate marketer or even in network marketing, which like MLM and network marketing is way more taboo, like, oh my God, than
Yeah.
is like referral based affiliate marketing or something. But most of the time, what I found, and this is true with like shame and feeling bad about like or nervous or like like we're not good enough or something, like when people that cared about me like learned about what I did and that like I make an income online and I work for various companies or that I'm an affiliate marketer or something, they were always like, dude, that's impressive, like good for you, you're a beast, like
Yeah.
that's pretty badass, like that you just learned skills by yourself and now like you just basically answer to nobody and just like do your thing online, and like that's really cool, like
Hmm.
how the hell did you do that? Like they're mostly just like super impressed. I find it that it's really cool that you stay true though to your story, and like I think there's a big, when people start looking for how do I model after other people's videos, I think one thing that they do is they immediately go to like, oh, I don't have that big kick-ass story yet, like I haven't done $30,000 online or something.
Hmm.
And I think that they cave to either like, yeah, trying to make it seem like they do, or they try to make it seem like something that it's not, or they go the other route where they're like, well, I just can't create any videos because I don't have anything. I haven't done anything,
Yeah.
It's one of those two.
There was one video that I posted where I talked about the expenses that I have each month to run my funnels and on all of that. And someone commented on it and said, "What, what is your return on investment? What are you making, every month?" And when that comment came through, I was like, oh, man, I knew someone was going to ask me this. And at that point, I hadn't made really any. I just had made like some $2 commissions and stuff. So
Sure.
I thought, all right, I can do this two ways. I can just ignore that comment and pretend I didn't see it, or I can respond to it. And it's probably going to hit home to some people. So I made a responding video to that. And I just said, I knew this comment was going to come in, and here's my transparency. I have made, I think it was maybe $100 at that point, just on just small ticket things that had added up to that. But that had been over the course of 5 months. So I said, haven't seen a huge return yet, but here's what I'm working towards. And people were, commenting and messaging like, thank you for your transparency. And I got a huge amount of followers that day and kind of that week that I posted that TikTok. And it just reinforced that being real and not trying to embellish that, oh, I quit my job in a month after I started this, and this is what I do full time now. And I know that's the case for some people, but it's not for me. And I'm not going to paint that picture.
Yeah, totally. And you don't need to. It's not a big deal,
Right.
Like people put this weird pressure on themselves, and it's like, dude, it's not even a big deal. No one cares. It's totally fine.
Yep, exactly.
That's super cool. Well, I love that. And I think that here's my thought is, I think in some cases when people do that, they might have a slightly slower growth trajectory. But when I've seen people do that throughout the last 10 years, I've seen them cultivate like lists and followers that are more loyal, that are more engaged, that are more like sort of connected, attached to the person and the business. And it usually results in just more longevity. So it is a thing where sometimes that's a little slower to really ramp up from a revenue perspective in your business.
Mhm.
But the longevity of it and the ability to keep and hold a TikTok account tends to be a little bit better. And then as it grows and as it gets a little bit of legs, it starts to really take off, because that core group that you built right away, you were truthful to them. You answered them with respect and dignity, and you were real with them. And people appreciate and respect that. They have an intuition as they watch your videos where they're like, hey, this Olivia, she's real. Like, she's a real cat. She's not BSing us, and she's not like a hype person who's just like, oh, dude, I don't want to see another one of your videos.
Exactly.
Yeah. Well, cool. Well, Olivia, I had no idea what to expect, and this was really, really cool. And thanks for coming on and taking a little time from your job, or well, you're off this week, but just from life and everything. And stay in our world, stay in our community. Come back in a couple months and let us know what's new, how things are going, and we'd love to have you back on and come back and share more with us.
Yeah, absolutely. Thank you for having me on the show today.
Totally. Is this the best place for people to find you?
Yes, that's my TikTok.
Cool. All right. Thanks again, Olivia. See ya. And yeah, keep in touch. We'll reach back out in a couple months and see where you're at.
Awesome. Thanks, Matt.
Cool. All right, guys. Hey, so I want you to go give Olivia a follow. Our community is meant to lift people up. So you can give her a follow and then go and comment. Let her know, was there anything that stood out from today's episode? Was there anything that in particular you resonated with? And make a little connection there. Make a little connection. Maybe she'll follow you back. Who knows? I'm not going to guarantee she's going to go through every comment. But make a little connection and follow Olivia and like her videos and watch her videos and help lift her channel up, because someday it's going to be you who's on this show, and you're going to want that to come back to you. And business karma is a real thing. So what you're going to put out there, the work, the effort, the time, the energy, what you put out there comes back to you in some format or in some form. It's sort of building relational capital with each other. So give Olivia a follow, Carney, CARNEY _approved. And we'll be back here again tomorrow, same time, same place, as always, 10 a.m. Eastern time, for another edition of Wake Up Legendary. And if you did not get the TikTok handle on the screen, I just put it in the chat on our Facebook feed here. So, all right. Peace out, everybody. We'll be back here tomorrow on Thursday, 10 a.m. Eastern, for another edition of Wake Up Legendary. And